the reason I'm more on the right side of the lathe than the headstock in the middle is because I'm going to be hollowing from the end of the lathe. I'm going to talk a little bit about the tools that I'm going to be using. There we go. Okay, this is a 3/8, and it's a John Jordan tool, and this is his hook tool, the same 3/8. I use John Jordan and Trent Bosch's tools. I like a little bit of one more than the other, and vice versa. I like the other one for some reasons more. These have set screws on them, the John Jordan tools, where you can take the tip out. So I sharpen up 6 or 8 tips, have them in a box, and if it dulls on me, I can replace it just in a second. I have this in a 3/8, a half, and 5/8. Tonight we'll be using mainly the 1/2 inch. These are also John Jordan tools with the set screws, and these are the ones I'll use to start. Trent Bosch's tools I like a lot because of the shape that they are. They're real thin, and sometimes you can get in a tighter spot with them. They are harder to sharpen, at least for me, because they're super glued in. So you do them on a grinding wheel and you freehand them. And it's not that hard, but to me the other is a little bit easier. So I'm going to start tonight with John Jordan's. I'm going to just go over a few shapes of urns that I've done in the past. The first urn that I have turned is this one that I did for Merlin, who was a family dog. Right there, okay. And I brought it to show and tell before. Merlin's vacant right now, so I can show you the insert. This is a mesquite base and ebony top, and it's got the brass inserts like I told you about earlier. Here you go, Sandra. The next one is one similar to what I plan on doing tonight, if all works out. It's got an ebony lid as well. And, these lids are interchangeable, so if you make an urn and a lid or anything for that matter, and it doesn't seem to look right, you can always, with the brass inserts or the plastic or whatever you use, you can always just switch them out until you find the one that looks the best. This one, it wasn't supposed to look like this, but it just didn't work out. But it again has the brass in it, and I can use either of those lids or make another lid. And it was one I did in preparation for this demo. This is kind of what I call a travel size. We did the votive lights. John Solberg did a demo a year or two ago. Had some left over because I made a bunch of them afterward and gave them as gifts. So I decided to try my threading. And so if you want a hand thread, in this case I used a tool that would do that, not really hand threading, but you can do wood threads and they work fine. A couple of other shapes that you could make an urn out of. This particular one is a hollow form I had done some time ago, and another one that I've done. I think this one was done green because it wouldn't be an urn anymore. It's kind of oblong, but they're good shapes for urns. You don't want an urn to be real top heavy. Matter of fact, I kind of keep mine weighted a little bit on the bottom, a little heavy. I'm going to start with the straight bit. going to start about center, a little bit too high. And you have to leave a lip inside so your brass ring has something to fit up against. So I usually start right here and do a little bit of work right there and make my lip. With this tool, you can push or pull. You're just cutting on the side, and you want to cut the top third first. A good clean out is just a pegboard hook. It's just got the right curvature to it, or air. So our hole is probably 3/4 of an inch right now at the opening. So we can open it a little bit more, give us better access to that upper section, the shoulder there. Gotta move this just a little bit. We're good? Okay. I'm going to start by checking how thick it is. That's about an inch there. So I want 3/4 visible. Right now I have about a half, so I still need to go quite a bit. Turning from the end, I find is a lot easier on your neck and back, and you can put your tool right underneath your arm, and it's not a 2x8, but it does a good job. Oops. A bit of a catch there. Try that again. All right. There's a lot of tools on the market for stabilizing. I have a couple with me tonight. You can buy mechanical ones, you can buy hand ones. This is a John Jordan model. You just put your tool in the end and you brace it next to your body and you work the tool like we've been working. This one is a Gary Bobenhauser tool, very nice. It's actually a Sorby.
On the Golden
It works
Triangle
in the same way.
Zoom tonight.
And this one, I couldn't tell you what it is. I bought it from Glenn Cox for $5 or so.
You don't have an
And it
accident.
works in the same principle.
What do you need?
And when these come in handy is when you start putting your hook tools on there.
Oh,
And it gives you a little bit more stability.
Okay. I'll get off and do it.
Another one is the Sorby tool that has, you can buy the accessory handle. And usually if I'm using the teardrop, it's handy stabilizing it because it wants to grab pretty bad. So anyway, but tonight I'm going to just use this tool and see how it goes. Sometimes it goes better than others, of course. I didn't mention earlier, but I've been in Golden Triangle wood turners probably about 10 years, and this is the first demo I've ever done. So if you felt the knees knocking, I have too. So let's try this without a stabilizer. And you got to take it in real carefully. Okay, I'm really surprised I hadn't had any questions.
I got a question, Dave. Hey, Dave, does Sandra know you have all those tools?
She buys them for me, Kevin.
Hey, David, this is Gary. Have you tried using the flat bottom instead of, I noticed all of yours are round. Do the flat bottoms maybe make it easier for someone to resist torque and control level, or does it matter a whole lot?
I think you asked if I use some flat tools,
No.
flat
If
bottom.
you, yeah,
These
flat
that I've
bottom.
been using are all round. However, I do have a couple that are flat. Probably have one here. When you're doing the ones with the 90s, it works well. This just happens to be an easy wood tool, which I've never really used at hollow form, but I was just putting it in here to illustrate. Most of what I use around, the flat bottom in some cases are certainly better. I guess the only one I have with me is this tool here, and I think it's a Sorby probably. And it's adjustable, and I have used it on occasion. But the problem with this tool is the length and getting it inside because it's such a small opening. On a larger hollow form, it would work great. This is just for like a 10 or 12 pound animal. If you're doing a bigger urn or hollow form, you need bigger tools, and I have some bigger tools. I just don't have them here, and some of them are flat on the bottom. Let's try this again. It was getting a little jerky there. See what I can do with it. Oh, did that answer your question, Kevin? I guess it did.
Yeah, it was Gary, and yeah, it did.
If I'm going for a thin hollow form, or or if I'm at home, I'd probably be using my Trent Bosch stabilizer. It works kind of in the same way. It uses the same method, the same strokes as you would with by doing it this way. It has that same action. It's a pretty good sized tool. I chose not to use it on this small of a project. About to get that shoulder where I want it. I'm going to go back to the straight tool and go a little deeper. And I will not go all the way to the bottom, but I wanted to get a little bit deeper so I can try getting the teardrop in there a little bit. Really nice control off the end.